Good evening and welcome to Dreamy Academy. Tonight we turn our gaze to a subject that cradles our very existence, the quiet, profound science of agriculture. As we begin, I'd love to know where you're watching from, your city, your country, perhaps even what the night sky looks like outside your window. If you enjoy these peaceful explorations of science, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It truly helps this little corner of quiet curiosity grow. To those already subscribed, thank you sincerely for being part of this slow and thoughtful adventure. We often think of agriculture as fields stretching to the horizon, or the food on our plates, a practical necessity. But beneath these familiar surfaces lies a universe of intricate processes, a vast interwoven tapestry of physics, chemistry and biology, orchestrated across scales from the subatomic to the global. Every bite of food you eat, every breath of oxygen you draw, whispers a story older than mountains, a story of sunlight captured and transformed. It is the story of agriculture, not just as human endeavour, but as a deep, patient dance with the fundamental energies of our living planet. Consider the simple act of eating. It feels so immediate, so personal. Yet, in that act, you are participating in a cycle that began billions of years ago with the birth of our sun. The energy that warms your body, that fuels your thoughts, that sustains your very heartbeat, is sunlight. It has travelled 93 million miles across the vacuum of space, arrived on Earth as a cascade of photons, and then, through the silent, tireless work of a plant, was coaxed into a chemical bond, a tiny, invisible packet of energy. This is the profound beauty of agriculture. It is the art and science of harvesting starlight, transforming it into the very substance of life. We are not merely consumers, we are participants in this ancient ongoing miracle, woven into the fabric of the Earth's most fundamental energy exchange. To contemplate this is to find wonder at the most ordinary leaf, the most common grain, and to understand with a quiet humility our place within this grand green design. Consider for a moment the ordinary miracle of a single leaf, gently unfurling in the morning light. It seems so simple, so unassuming, yet within its delicate structure resides a molecular machinery of astonishing complexity and elegance. This leaf, and billions like it, performs the most fundamental alchemy on Earth. It turns raw sunlight into the fuel of life. It is the very foundation of agriculture, the quiet engine that powers almost every ecosystem, every creature, and ultimately every human being. Let's begin by understanding this green heart of our planet, the process we call photosynthesis. The word itself, photo meaning light, and synthesis meaning to put together, tells us much. It is, quite literally, building with light. Plants, along with algae and certain bacteria, are the Earth's primary producers, the original sun-eaters. They do not hunt or forage. They simply stand or float and draw energy directly from the star that warms our world. This act is so ubiquitous, so constant, that we often overlook its profound significance. Yet, without it, our planet would be a barren, lifeless rock. A plant is, in essence, a sophisticated solar energy converter. Its leaves are its solar panels, designed with an exquisite efficiency to capture the diffuse energy of photons. The primary pigment responsible for this capture is chlorophyll, the molecule that gives plants their characteristic green hue. Chlorophyll doesn't just reflect green light, it actively absorbs the red and blue wavelengths, precisely those parts of the spectrum most abundant and energetic in sunlight. Imagine a tiny molecular antenna tuned perfectly to receive the sun's broadcast. Within the cells of a leaf, these chlorophyll molecules are housed in specialized organelles called chloroplasts. Each chloroplast is like a miniature self-contained factory, meticulously organized to perform the two main stages of photosynthesis. The first stage, known as the light-dependent reactions, occurs within stacks of disc-like structures called thylakoids inside the chloroplast. Here, the captured light energy is used to split water molecules, releasing oxygen as a byproduct, the very oxygen we breathe. This process also generates two crucial energy-carrying molecules, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, often called the energy currency of the cell, and NADPH, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, an electron carrier. These aren't forms of stored sugar yet. They are transient energy packets, ready to be spent. The second stage, the light-independent reactions, often referred to as the Calvin cycle, then takes place in the fluid-filled space surrounding the thylakoids, called the stroma. This is where the actual building occurs. The ATP and NADPH generated in the first stage provide the energy and reducing power to take carbon dioxide, drawn from the atmosphere through tiny pores in the leaf called stomata, and convert it into glucose, a simple sugar. This is carbon fixation, the remarkable act of transforming an inorganic gas into organic matter. It's a beautifully intricate cycle, where carbon atoms are gradually stitched together, step by precise step, into the complex carbohydrates that form the basis of all food. So, a plant is not simply eating sunlight. It is absorbing its energy, using it to dismantle water, and then, with the liberated hydrogen and atmospheric carbon, it is constructing sugar molecules. These sugars are the plant's food, its building blocks, its stored energy. They can be used immediately for growth, development, and reproduction, or they can be linked together to form more complex carbohydrates like starch, for long-term storage, or cellulose, which provides structural support to the plant, forming its stems and trunks. Every stalk of corn, every grain of rice, every apple on a tree is a testament to this profound and elegant process. The implications of this molecular dance are staggering. Consider the sheer scale. An estimated 130 billion tons of carbon are fixed by photosynthesis globally each year. This is not merely an abstract number. It represents the constant, silent generation of almost all the organic matter on Earth. Every animal, fungus, and bacterium that cannot perform photosynthesis itself relies, directly or indirectly, on these sun-eaters. We are all, in a very real sense, downstream beneficiaries of this green alchemy. The air we breathe, with its vital oxygen, is a continuous gift from this process, a byproduct of water being split by captured light. The carbon cycle, which regulates Earth's climate, is driven by this constant exchange as plants draw carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and lock it into living tissue, only to release it again through respiration or decay. There's a particular comfort in understanding this fundamental truth. When you look at a tree, you're not just seeing wood and leaves, you're seeing solidified sunlight, an intricate structure built atom by atom from the air and water, powered by a distant star. And when you eat, you're not just consuming calories, you are partaking in that ancient, unbroken chain of energy transfer, a direct link to the very first moments of life on Earth that learned to harness the sun. So we've seen how the plant, through the quiet, tireless work of photosynthesis, acts as the primary gateway for solar energy into the living world. But this remarkable process doesn't happen in a vacuum. A plant needs more than just light and air. It needs a foundation, a medium that provides water, stability, and a rich array of vital elements. How does this seemingly inert substance below our feet contribute to the vibrant life above? What hidden wonders lie in the dark, fertile ground that cradles our crops? That question leads us into the patient, complex world of soil itself, the living skin of our planet, which we will explore next. We've seen the dazzling molecular ballet of photosynthesis, the ingenious capture of solar energy within the chloroplasts, transforming light into the very fabric of life. We've marveled at the plant, the primary producer, standing as the green heart of our planet, tirelessly generating oxygen and sugar from the elemental breath of the atmosphere and the pure essence of water. But as we concluded our last session, a crucial question lingered, a question that brings us closer to the ground beneath our feet, to the silent, tireless partner in this grand cosmic exchange. How does the soil contribute to this vital process? Let us turn our gaze now from the molecular antenna of the leaf to the hidden world below, to what I lovingly call the living skin of our planet. For just as the plant reaches skyward for light, it anchors itself deeply into the earth, drawing forth the sustenance that completes its magnificent work. What we often dismiss as mere dirt is, in fact, an astonishingly complex, vibrant, and utterly indispensable ecosystem. It is the crucible where life and death dance in an eternal cycle, the reservoir of ancient minerals, and the bustling home to a universe of unseen organisms. Imagine, if you will, peeling back a layer of the earth, not to reveal inert rock, but to uncover a dark, rich tapestry, teeming with unseen life and structured with an elegance that rivals any architectural feat. This is soil. It is not uniform, not static. It is a dynamic, breathing entity, a composite masterpiece born of millennia of interaction between geology, climate, biology, and time. At its core, soil is a magnificent blend of 4 primary components, each playing an essential interwoven role. First, we have the minerals, the bedrock of soil. These are the weathered fragments of ancient rocks, patiently broken down over eons by wind, water, ice, and the subtle chemistry of acids from rain and roots. We categorize these mineral particles by size: sand, large and gritty, providing aeration and drainage; silt, finer than sand, smooth to the touch, offering good water retention and nutrient holding; and clay, the smallest particles, often plate-like, which despite their minute size possess an extraordinary surface area. This vast surface area is critical, for it allows clay to bind water and, crucially, to hold on to positively charged nutrient ions, the very elements plants crave. Together, these mineral particles form the scaffolding of the soil, determining its texture and much of its physical behavior. Then there is organic matter, the dark, rich soul of the soil. This component is the decaying remains of plants, animals, and microorganisms, constantly being broken down and rebuilt by the soil's inhabitants. Think of fallen leaves, dead roots, the bodies of insects, and the countless cells of bacteria and fungi. As these materials decompose, they release a slow, steady stream of nutrients back into the soil, creating a rich, dark substance called humus. Humus is a marvel. It acts like a sponge, dramatically increasing the soil's capacity to hold water and nutrients, and it provides a stable, long-lasting source of energy for the microbial community. It is the soil's fertility engine, its dark, beating heart. The third component is water. Not just any water, but the precious moisture that fills the microscopic pores and clings to the mineral and organic particles. Soil water is the solvent of life, dissolving nutrients and making them available for plant uptake. It is the transport system, moving these dissolved elements to the roots. And of course, water itself is a fundamental ingredient for photosynthesis, as we explored. Finally, there is air. Yes, soil breathes. The spaces between particles, the network of tunnels created by worms and roots, are filled with gases, primarily nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. Oxygen is vital for the respiration of plant roots and for the vast majority of soil organisms, while carbon dioxide is a byproduct of their metabolic activity, slowly diffusing upwards to replenish the atmosphere, ready to be drawn back into a leaf. But these four components, in isolation, are merely a recipe. What truly brings soil to life, what orchestrates its profound contributions, are the living organisms, the soil biota. This is where the silent universe beneath our feet truly reveals its astonishing complexity. From the macroscopic earthworms and insects that burrow and aerate, to the microscopic nematodes, protozoa, and, most critically, the billions upon billions of bacteria and fungi in every handful, these creatures are the unsung heroes of our planet. Consider the role of these microbes. They are the great decomposers, the tireless recyclers. They break down organic matter, transforming complex molecules into simpler forms, releasing the locked-up nutrients that plants need to thrive. They are the alchemists of the underworld, converting the unusable into the essential. Take, for instance, nitrogen. One of the most critical macronutrients for plant growth. It is an indispensable building block for proteins, enzymes, and chlorophyll, that very pigment we celebrated in our last session. While our atmosphere is nearly 80% nitrogen gas, N2, plants cannot directly utilize it in this form. This is where soil microbes perform their extraordinary feat. Certain bacteria, known as nitrogen-fixing bacteria, some free-living and others forming symbiotic relationships with plant roots, famously in legumes, possess the unique ability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into forms plants can absorb, primarily ammonium, NH4+. Other bacteria then take over, transforming ammonium into nitrates, NO3, through a process called nitrification. It is these nitrates, dissolved in soil water, that plants readily take up through their root systems. Without this microbial conversion, vast stretches of our planet would be barren, unable to support the green life that sustains us all. Beyond nitrogen, these microscopic workers liberate phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and a host of essential micronutrients like iron, zinc, and manganese from organic matter and mineral particles. They are the unseen hands tending to the plant's nutritional needs, ensuring a steady supply line to the photosynthetic factories above. Moreover, soil organisms are the architects of soil structure. Earthworms, by burrowing, create channels for air and water, improving drainage and aeration. Fungi, particularly the mycorrhizal fungi, form incredible symbiotic relationships with plant roots. Their hyphae, tiny thread-like structures, extend far beyond the reach of the plant's own roots, vastly increasing the surface area for water and nutrient absorption. In exchange, the plant provides the fungi with sugars produced through photosynthesis. It is a mutually beneficial partnership that has shaped terrestrial life for hundreds of millions of years, a profound testament to nature's collaborative genius. These fungal networks also bind soil particles together, creating stable aggregates that resist erosion and further enhance aeration and water infiltration. So, how does soil contribute to photosynthesis? It is the silent fundamental partner, the provider of the raw materials that allow the plant to perform its sun-eating magic. While the leaf captures the light and fixes the carbon, the soil provides the yeast waters that is split in the light-dependent reactions, releasing oxygen. More critically, it provides the myriad mineral nutrients, the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and all the micronutrients that are absolutely essential for building the complex machinery of photosynthesis. The chlorophyll molecules themselves, the enzymes that catalyze the Calvin cycle, the structural proteins of the chloroplasts, and the very health and integrity of the plant cell. Without these elements, the plant cannot construct its photosynthetic apparatus, cannot grow, cannot thrive. The soil, then, is the grand mediator between the geological past and the biological present. It is the bridge between inert rock and vibrant life, between the vastness of the atmosphere and the intricate world of the cell. It is the foundation upon which all terrestrial ecosystems are built, the silent, dark womb from which life continually springs. When we walk upon it, when we cultivate it, when we simply acknowledge its presence, we are treading upon billions of years of geological and biological history, upon an ordinary miracle that sustains every breath we take, every meal we eat. This living skin of our planet, this intricate tapestry of mineral and organic water and air teeming with life, is not merely a backdrop to agriculture. It is agriculture's very soul. It is the giver of life, the sustainer of the green alchemy. It demands our respect, our understanding, and our diligent stewardship. For in cherishing the soil, we are, in essence, cherishing life itself, safeguarding the profound beauty and astonishing complexity of our shared existence. We recognize that the vibrant green world above ground is but a mirror reflecting the unseen vitality bubbling beneath our feet. Next, we will venture further into the plant itself, to explore how it draws these vital elements from the soil and transports them to every cell, completing the circuit of life that begins with the sun and finds its anchor in the earth. Good evening, everyone. Last time, we delved into the vibrant living skin of our planet, the soil. We explored its intricate composition, from the mineral scaffolding of sand, silt, and clay, to the life-giving embrace of organic matter, and the invisible yet omnipresent dance of water and air. We celebrated the unsung heroes, the soil biota, whose tireless work liberates the very building blocks of life. We understood that this dynamic matrix is not merely dirt, but the foundational pantry and hydration station for the green world above. Now, with the stage set, with sunlight streaming down and a rich, nutrient-laden soil beneath, we arrive at a pivotal question. how do plants, these silent alchemists, actually access this bounty? How do they draw the essential water and minerals from the soil and transport them throughout their entire being, from the deepest root to the highest leaf, to fuel the miraculous machinery of photosynthesis and growth? Let us embark on this journey into the plant's ingenious circulatory system, a marvel of biological engineering that ceaselessly works to sustain life. Our exploration begins, as all good stories of plant life often do, with the roots. Imagine, if you will, the root system not merely as an anchor, but as a vast subterranean sensory network, constantly probing, absorbing, and communicating. It is here, often hidden from our sight, that the first critical interaction with the soil takes place. A plant's root tip is a fascinating structure. At its very vanguard, a protective root cap shields the delicate meristematic cells behind it, allowing the root to push through the abrasive soil matrix. Behind this cap lies the zone of elongation, where cells expand, pushing the root deeper. But it is in the zone of maturation, further back, that we find the true workhorses of absorption, the root hairs. These are not separate structures, but rather microscopic single-celled extensions of the epidermal cells, dramatically increasing the surface area for absorption. Think of them as millions of tiny, thirsty fingers reaching out into the soil, vastly expanding the plant's interface with its environment. A single rye plant, for instance, can possess billions of root hairs, collectively spanning thousands of square feet, an astonishing testament to nature's efficiency. So, how do these root hairs, and indeed the entire root system, absorb water and nutrients? Let's begin with water, the very solvent of life. Water absorption is primarily a passive process driven by a concept we call osmosis. Recall that water always moves from an area of higher water potential, more free water molecules, to an area of lower water potential, fewer free water molecules, often due to dissolved solutes. The soil generally has a higher water potential than the cytoplasm within the root cells. This creates a natural gradient, a gentle, inexorable pull, drawing water into the root. As water enters the root, it can take one of two main pathways through the root cortex. 1. The apoplastic pathway. Water moves through the extracellular spaces, along the cell walls, without ever crossing a cell membrane. It's like moving through the hallways of a building without entering any rooms. This is a relatively unimpeded flow. 2. The symplastic pathway. Water crosses the plasma membrane of an epidermal cell, and then moves from cell to cell through tiny cytoplasmic connections called RAM. Plasmodesmata. This pathway involves direct passage through the living cytoplasm of the cells. Both pathways are utilized, but there's a crucial gatekeeper, a discerning filter, deep within the root, the Casparian strip. This waxy waterproof band encircles the cells of the endodermis, a single layer of cells surrounding the vascular tissue. The Casparian strip acts like a biological roadblock, blocking the apoplastic pathway. Any water and dissolved minerals moving through the apoplast are forced to cross the plasma membrane of an endodermal cell and enter the symplast. Why is this so vital? Because by forcing substances into the symplast, the plant gains control. It can selectively absorb or exclude certain solutes, ensuring that only beneficial elements reach the central vascular cylinder, protecting the delicate xylem from harmful toxins. It's a remarkable example of nature's foresight, a biological quality control system. Now, what about the mineral nutrients, those essential elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, which are often present in the soil in much lower concentrations than water? Here, the process becomes more active and astonishingly precise. While some mineral ions might passively diffuse into the root when their concentration is higher in the soil than in the root cell, this is rarely the primary mechanism for most essential nutrients. Often, plants need to accumulate nutrients against a concentration gradient, meaning they need to take up nutrients even when there are fewer of them in the soil than inside the root cell. This requires energy, and this is where active transportee comes into play. Root cells actively pump protons, H+, out into the soil solution, creating an electrochemical gradient. This gradient then powers the uptake of various mineral ions, specific transporter proteins. Embedded in the root cell membranes act like molecular gates or pumps, selectively binding to particular ions and moving them into the cell. This process requires ATP, the energy currency produced by cellular respiration within the root cells, which, let us remember, ultimately derives its energy from the sunlight harvested by the leaves. It is a beautiful, indirect link between the sun and the microscopic work occurring in the soil. And let us not forget our friends, the mycorrhizal fungi. We spoke of them in Chapter 2, and their role in nutrient absorption cannot be overstated. These fungi form symbiotic relationships with plant roots, effectively extending the plant's absorptive surface area thousands of times over. Their delicate hyphae, far finer than root hairs, can access soil pores and nutrient reserves that roots cannot. In exchange for sugars from the plant, the fungi tirelessly scavenge for vital nutrients, especially phosphorus, which is notoriously immobile in soil, and deliver them directly to the root cells. It's a partnership forged over evolutionary time, a testament to the power of collaboration in the natural world. Once absorbed by the root cells, water and mineral nutrients must journey upward, sometimes against gravity, to reach every part of the plant. This incredible feat of transport is primarily accomplished by the xylem, the plant's internal plumbing system. The xylem is composed of specialized dead cells, primarily tracheids and vessel elements, which form continuous hollow tubes extending from the roots through the stem and into the leaves. Imagine a vast interconnected network of microscopic straws. But how does the water defy gravity and rise through these tubes, often to towering heights? This is explained by the transpiration cohesion tension theory, one of the most elegant and profound concepts in plant biology. It's a passive process, yet incredibly powerful, driven almost entirely by the sun's energy. 1. Transpiration. The primary driving force. Water vapor evaporates from the surfaces of mesophyll cells within the leaves and exits the leaf through tiny pores called stomata. This evaporation creates a negative pressure or tension in the leaf. 2. Cohesion. Water molecules are highly cohesive. They stick to each other due to hydrogen bonding. This allows them to form an unbroken continuous column of water within the xylem, from the root all the way to the leaves. 3. adhesion. Water molecules are also adhesive. They stick to the hydrophilic walls of the xylem vessels. This helps prevent the water column from breaking and assists in the upward pull. As water evaporates from the leaves, it pulls the next water molecule up, which in turn pulls the next, and so on, creating a continuous pull or transpirational stream that draws water and dissolved minerals from the roots up through the xylem to the very tips of the plant. It's a silent, powerful engine fueled by the gentle warmth of the sun, lifting gallons of water against the force of gravity every single day. The plant doesn't, quote assist, water. It simply allows the sun's energy to create a vacuum that pulls the water upward. So we have water and minerals flowing upward, nourishing the photosynthetic machinery in the leaves. But what happens to the sugars, the glucose, the very energy harvested from starlight in the chloroplasts? How do these vital organic compounds reach the non-photosynthetic parts of the plant, such as the roots, developing fruits, or growing tips, which also require energy for their own life processes? This is the domain of the phloem. The other major component of the plant's vascular tissue. The phloem is composed of living cells, primarily sieve tube elements, which lack nuclei but contain cytoplasm, and their associated companion cells, which regulate the sieve tube elements. Unlike the xylem, phloem transport can occur in multiple directions depending on the plant's needs. The movement of sugars through the phloem is best explained by the pressure flow hypothesis. 1. Source. Sugars are produced primarily in the leaves during photosynthesis. These leaves are considered sources. Stored sugars in roots or fruits can also act as sources when mobilized. 2. Loading at the source. Companion cells actively transport sugars, usually sucrose, into the sieve tube elements at the source. This active transport requires ATP. 3. Water movement. The high concentration of sugars in the sieve tube elements lowers the water potential, causing water to move by osmosis from the adjacent xylem into the sieve tubes. 4. Pressure. Build-up. This influx of water increases the turgor pressure within the sieve tubes at the source. 5. Bulk flow. The elevated pressure at the source pushes the sugary sap, phloem sap, through the sieve tubes towards areas of lower pressure. 6. Sink. These areas of lower pressure are called sinks, where sugars are being utilized or stored. Examples include growing roots, developing flowers, fruits, or storage organs. 7. Unloading at the sink. Sugars are actively transported out of the sieve tube elements by companion cells at the sink. 8. Water recycles. As sugars leave the sieve tubes, the water potential increases and water moves by osmosis back into the xylem, ready to be pulled up again by transpiration. This elegant system ensures that the energy currency of the plant, the sugars, can be efficiently distributed to every part that needs it, supporting growth, reproduction, and survival. It is a dynamic highway, constantly adjusting its flow to meet the demands of the plant. So, we see the complete picture. The roots, like diligent miners, extracting water and minerals from the soil, sometimes passively, often actively, always selectively. The xylem, a silent solar-powered elevator, lifts this vital stream to the canopy, and the phloem, a sophisticated logistical network, distributes the harvested starlight, now converted into sugars, to every corner of the plant. All of these processes, from the microscopic dance of ions across a cell membrane to the macroscopic flow of sap through a tree, are interconnected, interdependent, and ultimately powered by the sun. The soil provides the raw materials, the plant provides the ingenious machinery, and the sun provides the energy. It is a symphony of biological and physical forces, an ordinary miracle playing out ceaselessly, sustaining not just the plant itself, but through it, nearly all life on Earth. Next time, we will explore what happens when these intricate systems encounter challenges. What happens when the soil is depleted or the climate shifts? How do plants adapt? And how can we, as stewards of this green planet, ensure that these vital processes continue to flourish? Thank you. We've journeyed deep into the emerald heart of the plant, tracing the elegant dance of water and nutrients, the sun-powered symphony of xylem and phloem. We've marveled at the intricate machinery that allows life to flourish, a testament to nature's boundless ingenuity. But even the most finely tuned systems face challenges. The world, as we know, is not static. It is a canvas of constant change, and our green allies, these primary producers, are at the forefront of adapting to its shifting hues. Today, we turn our gaze outwards, from the microscopic wonders within the plant to the macroscopic pressures that bear upon it. We'll explore the remarkable resilience of these organisms, how they cope with adversity, and crucially, how we, as stewards of this planet, can cultivate practices that foster not just survival, but true thriving. Consider, if you will, the soil we discussed in Chapter 2, that living, breathing skin of the earth. It is the bedrock of plant life, a complex matrix of minerals, organic matter, water, air, and an astonishing biodiversity of microorganisms. Yet this precious resource is not inexhaustible, nor is it immune to our influence. When we practice intensive agriculture, year after year, planting the same crop in the same soil, we inadvertently create a nutrient drain. Each harvest removes a portion of the soil's bounty, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and a host of micronutrients, without always returning them in kind. This relentless extraction, often coupled with a reduction in organic matter, leads to what we call soil depletion. Imagine a bank account from which you constantly withdraw but rarely deposit. Over time, the balance dwindles. Soil depletion manifests as reduced fertility, requiring ever-increasing synthetic inputs to maintain yields. But it's more than just a lack of nutrients. It's a breakdown of the entire soil ecosystem. The delicate web of microbial life suffers. The soil structure degrades, becoming compacted and less able to hold water or resist erosion. Without its vibrant biology, the soil loses its capacity to buffer against stress, to cycle nutrients efficiently, or to support robust plant growth. The plant in turn finds itself struggling. Its roots, once exploring a rich larder, now encounter a barren pantry. Its ability to photosynthesize, to build its magnificent structures, is compromised, leading to weaker plants, more susceptible to disease and pests. And then there are the broader strokes of climate shifts. A global canvas undergoing rapid transformation. Think of water, the very solvent of life, drawn up by the xylem's tireless work. When drought descends, the plant faces an existential crisis. Its immediate response is often to close its stomata, those tiny pores on the leaves that facilitate CO2 uptake and transpiration. This is a survival mechanism, a desperate attempt to conserve precious water. But there's a profound trade-off. With closed stomata, carbon dioxide can't enter, and photosynthesis grinds to a halt. The plant essentially starves itself to prevent desiccation. Over prolonged periods, this leads to wilting, stunted growth, and eventually death. Yet some plants have evolved ingenious adaptations, deeper root systems to tap into lower water tables, specialized leaf coatings to reduce evaporation, or even the ability to alter their photosynthetic pathways to be more water efficient. Extreme temperatures, too, pose a significant threat. Heat stress can cause proteins within the plant's cells to denature, much like an egg cooking. The intricate enzymes vital for photosynthesis and respiration cease to function, leading to a collapse of cellular processes. Conversely, extreme cold can freeze water within cells, rupturing membranes and destroying tissue. Plants respond by producing protective compounds, like heat shock proteins or antifreeze proteins, or by adjusting their growth cycles to avoid the harshest conditions. Even changes in atmospheric CO2 levels, while sometimes initially appearing beneficial due to a CO2 fertilization effect that can boost photosynthesis, present a complex picture. While some studies show increased biomass, there are concerns about the nutritional quality of these plants, as they may become diluted in terms of essential minerals. Moreover, altered CO2 levels can shift water use efficiency in ways that aren't always straightforwardly positive, and can interact with other stressors to create unforeseen challenges. Amidst these pressures, the plant kingdom exhibits an astonishing capacity for resilience and adaptation. This isn't just a passive endurance, it's an active, dynamic response, honed over millennia. One of the most powerful tools in nature's arsenal is genetic diversity. Within a species, or even a population, there exists a vast library of genetic information, a collection of subtle variations that might confer resistance to a particular disease, tolerance to drought, or the ability to thrive in poor soil. When environmental conditions change, individuals with advantageous traits are more likely to survive and reproduce, gradually shifting the population's genetic makeup to better suit the new reality. It's evolution in action, a slow, patient unfolding of solutions. Beyond genetic inheritance, plants also display remarkable phenotypic plasticity. This is their ability to change their physical form and physiological processes in response to environmental cues. A plant growing in nutrient-poor soil might develop a more extensive, finely branched root system to scavenge for scarce resources, whereas the same species in rich soil might invest more energy in above-ground growth. A plant exposed to strong winds might grow shorter and sturdier. These are not genetic changes, but rather flexible developmental adjustments, allowing the plant to optimize its form and function for its immediate environment. And let us not forget the profound importance of those symbiotic relationships. We explored the mycorrhizal fungi, extending their hyphal networks far beyond the reach of root hairs, are not just nutrient providers. They are stress mitigators, enhancing water uptake, protecting against pathogens, and buffering against soil toxins. The nitrogen-fixing bacteria, nestled in root nodules, ensure a steady supply of this vital element, even when soil nitrogen is scarce. These partnerships are not luxuries. They are fundamental pillars of plant resilience, embodying the interconnectedness of life. So, where do we, as humans, fit into this intricate dance of challenge and adaptation? Our role, I believe, is one of stewardship. We have the capacity not only to understand these complex systems, but also to intervene in ways that support and enhance the natural world rather than diminish it. This requires a shift in perspective from viewing the land merely as a resource to be extracted to seeing it as a living entity to be nurtured. This brings us to the realm of sustainable agricultural practices. These are not simply a collection of techniques, they are an ethos, a commitment to working with nature, not against it. Consider crop rotation, for instance. Instead of planting corn year after year, a farmer might rotate corn with soybeans, then wheat, then a cover crop. Soybeans, a legume, host nitrogen-fixing bacteria, naturally enriching the soil with nitrogen for the subsequent corn crop. Different crops have different nutrient requirements and pest susceptibilities, breaking disease cycles and reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. Cover cropping is another powerful tool. After harvesting a main crop, instead of leaving the soil bare, farmers plant a, quote, 13 crop, perhaps clover, rye, or vetch. These plants protect the soil from erosion by wind and rain, suppress weeds, and when tilled in, or left to decompose on the surface in no-till systems, add valuable organic matter, feeding the soil's microbial community and improving its structure and fertility. This leads us to no-till or minimum tillage farming. Instead of ploughing and turning the soil, which disrupts its delicate structure, releases carbon into the atmosphere and exposes it to erosion, no-till practices leave the soil undisturbed. Crop residues remain on the surface, acting as a natural mulch. This preserves soil aggregates, fosters microbial life, sequesters carbon, and dramatically reduces erosion, creating a healthier, more resilient soil ecosystem. And what of the nutrients we remove? We can return them through composting and organic fertilizers. By recycling organic waste, plant residues, food scraps, animal manures, we create nutrient-rich humus that slowly releases its goodness back into the soil, building its long-term health and vitality. This closes the loop, mimicking nature's own cycles. In the face of water scarcity, water conservation techniques become paramount. Drip irrigation, which delivers water directly to the plant roots, minimizes evaporation and runoff, using water far more efficiently than traditional sprinkler systems. Understanding soil moisture levels and plant needs allows for precise irrigation, avoiding both under and overwatering. Finally, let's consider agroforestry. The integration of trees and shrubs into agricultural landscapes. This ancient practice offers a multitude of benefits. Trees provide shade, reducing heat stress and evaporation. Their deep roots access nutrients unavailable to annual crops. They enhance biodiversity, creating habitats for beneficial insects and wildlife, and they act as windbreaks, protecting crops and reducing erosion. Agroforestry systems are inherently more resilient, diverse, and productive than monocultures. Our role as stewards also extends to the realm of science and technology. Geneticists are working to breed new crop varieties that are inherently more resilient: drought-tolerant corn, disease-resistant wheat, nutrient-efficient rice. Precision agriculture uses satellite imagery and sensors to monitor crop health and soil conditions, allowing farmers to apply inputs precisely where and when they are needed, minimizing waste and environmental impact. And our deepening understanding of the soil microbiome is opening new avenues for enhancing plant health through beneficial microbial inoculants. This journey, from the sun's energy to the sugar in a plant's leaf, from the mineral in the soil to the fruit on the branch, is a testament to the profound interconnectedness of life. The challenges we face, soil depletion, climate shifts, are not insurmountable. They are calls to action, invitations to engage with the natural world with humility, curiosity, and a deep sense of responsibility. The plants, in their tireless work, offer us a profound lesson in resilience and adaptation. They remind us that life, even in the face of adversity, finds a way, constantly seeking balance, constantly evolving. Our task, as intelligent inhabitants of this shared planet, is to learn from their wisdom, to support their enduring strength, and to cultivate a future where both humanity and the green heart of our world can truly flourish. This is the essence of agricultural science, a science not just of growing food, but of growing life itself, sustainably and harmoniously. Good evening, everyone. We've journeyed through the miraculous machinery of photosynthesis, explored the living heart of our soil, traced the elegant circulatory pathways within plants, and confronted the challenges that test their resilience. We ended our last session contemplating stewardship, the profound responsibility we bear in guiding these systems towards a flourishing future. Tonight, we move from understanding to action, from observation to integration. We explore what it truly means to work with nature, to cultivate not just crops, but ecosystems, and to nurture the very web of life that sustains us all. Our conversation about resilience and adaptation in Chapter 4, about practices like crop rotation and cover cropping, wasn't merely a list of techniques. It was a glimpse into a philosophy, a way of seeing the agricultural landscape not as a factory floor, but as a vibrant, interconnected community. This perspective, born from deep ecological understanding, leads us to a concept that is gaining vital momentum: regenerative agriculture. What does it mean to regenerate? It is to heal, to restore, to bring back to life. It is to move beyond simply sustaining what we have to actively enhancing the health and vitality of our planet's agricultural lands. This approach isn't a radical departure from the science we've discussed. Rather, it is its most coherent and beautiful application. It's the recognition that every principle we've uncovered, the sun's energy, the soil's intricate life, the plant's ingenious systems, can be harmonized to create abundance that regenerates the earth rather than depleting it. Let us return for a moment to the soil. We spoke of it as the living skin of our planet, a complex biome teeming with unseen life. In regenerative agriculture, the soil isn't just a medium for anchorage, it is the primary engine of health, a vast subterranean brain that orchestrates nutrient exchange, water retention, and carbon sequestration. Practices like minimal tillage, for instance, are not just about saving fuel, they are about respecting that underground architecture, preserving the fungal networks and microbial communities that build soil structure and facilitate nutrient delivery to roots. When we disturb the soil less, we allow these delicate relationships to thrive, fostering a resilience that extends far beyond the individual plant. And what of the plant itself? Our green alchemists tirelessly converting light into life. In a regenerative system, we understand that a healthy plant is a reflection of a healthy soil ecosystem. When the soil food web is robust, providing a diverse array of nutrients in bioavailable forms, plants are less stressed, more robust, and inherently more resistant to pests and diseases. This reduces the need for external interventions, allowing the plant's own defenses, honed over millennia of evolution, to operate effectively. We see the profound wisdom in supporting the plant's natural vigor, rather than constantly battling symptoms. Consider the role of biodiversity. We often think of agriculture as monocultures, vast fields of a single crop. But nature abhors a vacuum, and diversity is her fundamental strategy for stability. Regenerative systems embrace biodiversity, both above and below ground. Above ground, this means integrating different crops in rotation, planting cover crops between cash crops, and even incorporating trees and livestock into the farm landscape. These diverse plant communities support a wider array of beneficial insects, pollinators that ensure fruit set, and natural predators that keep pest populations in check. They create microclimates, reduce wind erosion, and continuously feed the soil with organic matter. Below ground, this diversity is even more crucial. Each plant species releases unique exudates from its roots, signaling to and feeding different microbial populations. A diverse rotation cultivates a richer, more resilient soil microbiome, a bustling metropolis of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes, all working in concert to cycle nutrients, build soil structure, and protect plant roots. This isn't just good for the farm, it's a living testament to the interconnectedness of life, a testament to the idea that strength comes from variety, from the harmonious interplay of countless different forms. This brings us to the concept of ecosystem services, the often unseen benefits that healthy natural systems provide to humans free of charge. In a regenerative agricultural landscape, these services are not just preserved, they are actively enhanced. Water management. Healthy, organic, rich soil acts like a sponge, absorbing rainfall, reducing runoff, and recharging groundwater. This mitigates drought, prevents erosion, and filters water, ensuring cleaner rivers and streams. Carbon sequestration. Through enhanced photosynthesis and increased organic matter in the soil, regenerative farms become carbon sinks, drawing down atmospheric carbon dioxide and storing it in the soil, a vital strategy in our global efforts to address climate change. Nutrient cycling. A vibrant soil food web efficiently recycles nutrients, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers and preventing nutrient runoff that can pollute waterways. Pest and disease regulation. By fostering biodiversity and healthy plant immunity, regenerative systems create a natural balance where pests are kept in check by their natural enemies and plants are less susceptible to disease. Pollination. Diverse landscapes provide habitat and food for pollinators, essential for the reproduction of many food crops. These are not abstract benefits. They are the very threads that weave together the fabric of a healthy planet and a thriving human society. They demonstrate that agriculture, far from being a purely extractive process, can be a powerful force for ecological restoration, What does this mean for the future of agriculture, for our collective sustenance? It means a profound shift in perspective. It means moving away from a model that often views nature as something to be conquered or controlled, towards one that embraces collaboration and understanding. It means that the advanced technologies we develop, precision irrigation, drone mapping, genetic insights, are not used to override natural processes, but to better understand and support them. They become tools for ecological intelligence, allowing us to fine-tune our practices with unprecedented precision, always in service of the living system. Imagine, if you will, a landscape where fields are alive not just with the bounty of a single crop, but with the buzzing of bees, the song of birds, and the quiet, ceaseless labour of billions of microbes beneath the surface. A landscape where the air is cleaner, the water purer, and the soil richer with every passing season. This is not a utopian fantasy. It is the tangible outcome of applying the scientific principles we have explored, of truly listening to the wisdom of nature. The agricultural scientist of tomorrow, and indeed today, is not merely an expert in a specific crop or a particular chemical. They are an ecologist, a soil whisperer, a plant physiologist, a climate steward, and a community builder, all rolled into one. They are someone who understands that the health of a single plant is inextricably linked to the health of the planet, and ultimately to the health and well-being of humanity. We began this journey by marvelling at the first act of life, photosynthesis, the harvesting of starlight. We conclude it by recognizing that our role as cultivators of the earth is to ensure that this miraculous act can continue, unimpeded and uncompromised, for generations to come. It is a profound responsibility, yes, but also an immense privilege. It is the opportunity to participate in the ongoing creation of life, to nurture the very processes that make our world vibrant and abundant. So, as we bring this series of lectures to a close, I invite you to carry these insights with you. Look at a blade of grass, a towering tree, a humble patch of soil, and see not just their surface, but the astonishing complexity, the tireless work, the profound beauty that lies within. Understand that every bite of food you eat is a direct link to the sun, the soil, and the intricate dance of life, and recognize that in our hands lies the power to cultivate a future where humanity and nature thrive together in a harmonious, regenerative embrace. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Or perhaps, as we gather here once more, it feels more like a quiet dawn, a moment of profound clarity after a long and illuminating journey. We have traversed vast landscapes, from the invisible dance of molecules within a leaf to the sprawling, vibrant tapestry of a regenerative farm. We have delved into the very heart of what sustains us, examining the intricate mechanisms that allow life to flourish on this pale blue dot. Tonight, as we bring our explorations to a gentle close, I invite you not to a new topic, but to a synthesis. Let us weave together the threads of understanding we have spun to see the magnificent design that emerges when we connect the capture of starlight, the living breath of soil, the silent wisdom of plants, and the conscious stewardship of humanity. What truly is agriculture, when viewed through this lens of interconnected wonder? We began, you'll recall, with the sun, the ultimate source of nearly all life's energy. Photosynthesis, that ancient tireless alchemy, remains the beating heart of our planet. Imagine for a moment the sheer audacity of it. An organism rooted in earth, reaching for the heavens, transforming raw light into the very substance of life. We spoke of chlorophyll, those molecular antennae, tuned to the precise frequencies of solar energy, capturing photons with an efficiency that still humbles our most advanced technologies. This isn't just a chemical reaction. It is the ceaseless, ordinary miracle that underpins every bite of food we eat, every breath of oxygen we take. It is the original act of harvesting starlight, a continuous, silent hum of creation that has been unfolding for billions of years. From the sun's embrace, our gaze then turned to the soil, the living skin of our planet, as we called it. How easily we might overlook this dark, crumbly foundation, yet how profoundly mistaken we would be. We uncovered a universe beneath our feet, a bustling metropolis of bacteria, fungi, nematodes, and arthropods, each playing a vital role in the grand symphony of decomposition and rebirth. We learned about the mycorrhizal networks, those ancient subterranean partnerships, extending the reach of a plant's roots 1,000-fold, trading precious sugars for essential minerals. We witnessed the tireless work of nitrogen-fixing bacteria, pulling life-giving nitrogen from the inert atmosphere and making it available to plants, completing a cycle without which complex life simply could not exist. The soil, then, is not merely dirt. It is the earth's quiet engine, its nutrient bank, its water filter, and its carbon sink, a living testament to the power of collaboration on a microscopic scale. Our journey continued inward, into the plant itself, exploring its internal rivers and highways. We traced the upward surge of water through the xylem, a testament to the cohesive power of water molecules and the gentle pull of transpiration from leaf pores. We marveled at the plant's ability to draw water against gravity, a feat of biological engineering powered by the sun, and then the phloem, distributing the sweet bounty of photosynthesis, glucose, to every hungry cell, from the deepest root tip to the newest flower bud. This internal transport system is a testament to the plant's elegant design, a continuous flow of life-sustaining resources, ensuring that every part of its being is nourished and contributing to the whole. It is a circulatory system far more profound than we often acknowledge, a silent testament to the plant's incredible self-sufficiency and interconnectedness. We then confronted the challenges and resilience that define the plant world. We saw how plants, despite their apparent stillness, are dynamic survivors, equipped with ancient wisdom coded in their DNA. They adapt to drought, resist pests, and recover from damage, often through intricate biochemical pathways or symbiotic relationships. And in this resilience we found a mirror for our own agricultural practices. When we impose monocultures and chemical dependency, we strip away this natural resilience, leaving our food systems vulnerable. But when we mimic nature's diversity and foster healthy ecosystems, we unlock a powerful, self-regulating strength that benefits both plant and farmer. This chapter was a turning point, reminding us that our role is not to conquer nature, but to understand and collaborate with its inherent wisdom. And finally, we arrived at regenerative agriculture, not merely a set of practices, but a philosophy, a paradigm shift. It is the conscious choice to move beyond sustaining, beyond minimizing harm, to actively healing and rebuilding. Regenerative agriculture is where all the scientific understanding we've gained finds its most profound application. It is the recognition that by nurturing the soil, we empower the plant. By fostering biodiversity, we enhance resilience. By managing water thoughtfully, we replenish the earth's vital veins. It is a holistic approach that sees the farm not as a factory, but as a vibrant, interconnected ecosystem, where every element contributes to the health and vitality of the whole. It is our collaborative dance with life, a partnership that seeks to leave the land, and indeed the planet, better than we found it. Now, as we gather these threads, what grand design emerges? We see that agriculture, at its core, is not merely the production of food. It is the primary gateway through which solar energy enters the biosphere, fueling all life. It is the crucial interface between the atmospheric carbon we must manage and the living carbon we must foster in our soils. It is the most widespread human interaction with the natural world, shaping landscapes, influencing climate, and determining the health of entire ecosystems. Consider the profound implications of this. When we choose regenerative practices, we are not just growing healthier food, we are actively sequestering carbon from the atmosphere, mitigating climate change. We are enhancing water retention in our soils, creating sponges that reduce flood risks and replenish aquifers. We are fostering biodiversity, providing habitat for pollinators and beneficial insects, strengthening the entire web of life. We are reducing our reliance on synthetic chemicals, safeguarding human health and protecting delicate ecosystems downstream. We are, in essence, becoming active participants in the planet's healing, rather than unwitting contributors to its degradation. This expanded view of agriculture transforms it from a utilitarian endeavor into a profound act of planetary stewardship. It becomes an art form, informed by science, guided by ethics, and inspired by the deep interconnectedness of all living things. It challenges us to look beyond the immediate yield and consider the long-term health of the entire system. The soil, the water, the air, the biodiversity, and ultimately the well-being of future generations. What a humbling and empowering realization this is. We, as human beings, possess the capacity for understanding, for empathy, and for conscious choice. We have the knowledge, much of which we've explored together, to mend the breaks in nature's cycles, to restore balance, and to cultivate not just crops, but thriving, resilient ecosystems. Our choices in how we grow our food ripple outwards, touching every corner of the globe, affecting every living being. So, as we conclude this series, I want to leave you with a sense of profound optimism. The challenges facing our planet are undeniable, but so too is our capacity for ingenuity and compassion. The principles of agricultural science, when applied with wisdom and humility, offer a powerful pathway forward. They invite us to reconnect with the land, to listen to its ancient rhythms, and to engage in a partnership that honors the tireless work of photosynthesis, the living breath of the soil, and the enduring resilience of all life. The journey of understanding agriculture is never truly over. It is a continuous unfolding, a deepening appreciation for the intricate dance of life. May the insights we have shared here at the Dreamy Academy inspire you to see the world with new eyes, to cherish the ordinary miracles that sustain us, and to become active participants in the great work of nurturing our planet. Thank you for joining me on this slow and thoughtful adventure. May your appreciation for the green heart of our planet continue to grow, boundless and ever renewing. Good evening again, my friends. We've journeyed through the intricate dance of photosynthesis, delved into the living tapestry of soil, traced the vital currents within plants, confronted the challenges of our era, and embraced the profound promise of regenerative agriculture. We've explored how a philosophy of healing can transform a single field, restoring its vitality, inviting life back into its depths. But what if we expand our gaze? What happens when this quiet revolution, this intimate partnership with nature, scales beyond the individual farm, beyond the local community? Today, we elevate our perspective, moving from the singular act of regeneration to its echoing planet-wide implications. We consider the global ripple effect of a regenerative approach, understanding how these localized acts of stewardship can collectively heal our Earth. Imagine, if you will, millions of acres, once degraded and weary, now humming with newfound life. Picture landscapes transformed, not by grand engineering feats, but by the patient, persistent work of roots and microbes, sun and soil. This is the vision, the tangible potential of regenerative agriculture on a global scale. Its impact extends far beyond the farm gate, touching the very air we breathe, the water we drink, the biodiversity that sustains us, and the stability of our global climate. One of the most profound and globally significant benefits of widespread regenerative practices lies in their capacity to address the urgent crisis of atmospheric carbon. We speak often of forests as the lungs of the earth, tirelessly converting carbon dioxide into oxygen, and they are indeed magnificent. But beneath our feet, in the vast, often unseen world of the soil, lies an equally, if not more, potent carbon sink. When we cultivate soil regeneratively, we are not merely growing crops, we are actively drawing carbon out of the atmosphere and storing it securely in the Earth's living skin. Think back to photosynthesis, that miraculous process where plants capture solar energy to convert atmospheric CO2 and water into sugars. In a healthy, regenerative system, a significant portion of these liquid carbon compounds, these sugary exudates, are not just used for the plant's growth. They are intentionally pumped into the soil by the roots, a direct offering to the microbial communities thriving there. These microbes in turn utilize these carbon offerings to build their own bodies, to create complex organic molecules, and to form the stable, long-lasting carbon structures we call humus. This is the liquid carbon pathway in action, a biological pump tirelessly sequestering atmospheric carbon into the soil. When we consider the sheer volume of agricultural land across our planet, billions of acres dedicated to feeding humanity, the potential for carbon sequestration becomes staggering. If even a fraction of this land were managed regeneratively, we could begin to significantly mitigate the excess carbon dioxide that has accumulated in our atmosphere. We could, quite literally, breathe life back into our skies, turning back the clock on decades of emissions, one healthy field at a time. It is an act of planetary healing, leveraging the Earth's own ancient mechanisms to restore balance. This is not some futuristic technology. It is the oldest technology there is, rediscovered and respectfully applied. Beyond carbon, the global impact on the water cycle is equally transformative. Degraded soils, compacted and devoid of organic matter, shed water like a paved surface. Rain falls, runs off, carrying precious topsoil and polluting waterways, contributing to floods and exacerbating droughts. But a regeneratively managed soil, rich in organic matter and teeming with life, behaves like a colossal sponge. It has an astonishing capacity to absorb and hold water, allowing it to slowly infiltrate into the subsoil, recharging groundwater aquifers. Imagine entire watersheds where the land acts as a vast natural reservoir. Less runoff means less erosion, cleaner rivers, and a dramatic reduction in the pollution that chokes aquatic ecosystems. Increased infiltration means more water available for plants, even during dry spells, enhancing resilience to drought. The evaporation of this stored soil moisture also has a localized cooling effect, influencing regional microclimates and potentially contributing to more stable, predictable rainfall patterns. We are, in essence, rehydrating continents, restoring the delicate balance of the Earth's hydrological systems simply by nurturing the soil beneath our feet. And what of biodiversity? We've spoken of the unseen universe beneath the soil, the billions of microorganisms that form the true engine of fertility. Regenerative agriculture fosters this subterranean life with an intensity that conventional methods cannot match. But the flourishing of life below ground inevitably leads to a resurgence of life above ground. Diverse cover crops, reduced pesticide use, and the creation of habitat corridors invite back pollinators, bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects, crucial for crop fertilization and overall ecosystem health. Birds return, finding food and shelter. Small mammals, once displaced, find refuge. The farm transitions from a monocultural desert to a vibrant, bustling ecosystem, a testament to the interconnectedness of all living things. This enhanced biodiversity creates a more resilient system. Natural pest control agents thrive, reducing the need for chemical interventions. A wider array of plant species in cover crops and rotations builds diverse root structures, accessing different nutrients and water sources, further stabilizing the soil. This is the web of life rewoven, strengthening itself with every thread, every species, every interaction. Finally, let us consider the implications for food security and human health. A global shift to regenerative practices promises more resilient food systems, capable of weathering the increasing volatility of our climate. Farms become less dependent on external, often fossil fuel-intensive inputs like synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, enhancing their economic viability and reducing their environmental footprint. This decentralizes food production, empowering local communities and fostering greater food sovereignty. But perhaps most profoundly, the food itself changes. When plants draw their sustenance from a living, nutrient-rich soil, they are able to synthesize a wider array of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. The food we eat becomes more nutrient-dense, more vibrant, more truly nourishing. We begin to understand that human health is inextricably linked to soil health. We are not just eating food, we are consuming the vitality of the earth, absorbed and transformed through the plant. A global regenerative movement is, therefore, a global health movement, nourishing not just our bodies, but the very planet that sustains us. This grand tapestry of benefits, carbon sequestration, water cycle restoration, biodiversity enhancement, and improved food quality, is not merely a collection of isolated advantages. They are deeply interconnected, each reinforcing the other in a magnificent feedback loop. Healthy soil leads to healthier plants, which leads to healthier ecosystems, which leads to a healthier planet, and ultimately healthier people. It is a holistic vision, a symphony of life where every element plays a crucial, harmonious role. What kind of world do we choose to cultivate? This is the question that regenerative agriculture, on a global scale, asks of us. It is a question of stewardship, of foresight, of our willingness to move from a paradigm of extraction to one of regeneration, from control to collaboration. It demands a profound shift in our human consciousness, recognizing our place not as masters of nature, but as integral, humble participants in its grand design. The farmers who embrace these practices are not just growers, they are earth stewards, healers of the land, pioneers of a future where agriculture becomes a net positive force for the planet. But the responsibility doesn't rest solely on their shoulders. Consumers, through their choices, can drive demand for regeneratively grown food. Policymakers can create incentives and support systems. Researchers can continue to unravel the intricate mysteries of soil ecology and plant microbe interactions. Educators can inspire the next generation to become passionate advocates for a living earth. The journey we have embarked upon in these lectures, from the microscopic wonders within a chloroplast to the planetary scale impacts of human choice, reveals a profound truth. The ordinary miracle of life is sustained by an astonishing elegance and interconnectedness. Regenerative agriculture is not just a set of techniques, it is an acknowledgement of this truth, a humble attempt to align our human endeavours with the Earth's enduring wisdom. It is an invitation to participate in the greatest agricultural revolution in human history, one that promises not just sustenance but healing, not just survival but thriving. We have the knowledge, the tools, and the imperative. The earth is waiting. The future is ours to cultivate. Thank you. We have journeyed together through the intricate tapestry of life, from the microscopic molecular dance of photosynthesis, a silent ballet of sunlight and chlorophyll transforming energy, to the sweeping, audacious vision of a regenerated earth, vibrant and teeming with life. We've witnessed the profound elegance of natural systems, marveling at their self-organizing intelligence and inherent resilience. We've delved into the tireless unseen work of the soil, recognizing it not as inert dirt but as a living, breathing organism, a complex universe beneath our feet. And we've celebrated the astonishing resilience of plants, their capacity to heal landscapes, draw down carbon, and provide sustenance with an almost miraculous tenacity. Throughout this exploration, we've understood, with increasing clarity, how our stewardship, when thoughtfully aligned with these ancient immutable rhythms of nature, can unlock a future of unparalleled abundance and profound healing on a global scale. We've spoken of intricate carbon pathways, the vital pulse of water cycles, and the breathtaking richness of biodiversity, painting together a grand, inspiring mural of what is truly possible when humanity consciously chooses to partner with the planet rather than dominate it. But now, as our exploration draws to a close, as the final slides fade from the screen and the last notes of this intellectual symphony resonate, I want us to pause and consider something even more fundamental, something that underpins every grand concept we've discussed. All these magnificent global transformations, these vast ecological shifts, these monumental acts of planetary healing, they do not simply manifest out of thin air like a sudden, unbidden miracle. They begin, always, with a choice. They begin with an understanding, and most profoundly, they begin with you, the individual, the person sitting right here, right now. It's a truth that can feel both humbling and incredibly empowering, a quiet whisper in the grand chorus of change. The East Quote 17, that incredible process where plants breathe life into the soil, storing atmospheric carbon deep beneath the surface, the restoration of entire watersheds, bringing parched lands back to verdant life and ensuring clean water for millions. The return of vibrant ecosystems, where birdsong fills the air and diverse species thrive once more. These are not abstract concepts to be managed solely by distant institutions, by governments or large corporations. No, they are the sum total of countless deliberate actions taken by individuals, by families, and by communities day after day, year after year. The miracle we seek to cultivate on a planetary scale is, in its essence, a microcosm of mindful engagement. It is the conscious choice to amend a small patch of soil in your garden with compost, feeling the rich, earthy texture between your fingers, knowing you are fostering life. It is the deliberate decision to support a local farmer committed to regenerative practices, recognizing their dedication with every purchase. It is the conscious act of reducing waste in your home, seeing the potential for reuse and renewal in every discarded item. Or perhaps, most simply, it is the quiet moment of appreciation for the green life around you. A tree swaying in the breeze, a blade of grass pushing through concrete, a recognition of the inherent vitality that surrounds us all. These small, seemingly insignificant acts are the threads that weave the larger tapestry. This understanding we've cultivated together, this deep appreciation for the living earth, is not meant to remain confined within the academic walls of an academy, a hallowed space of learning, or solely within the pristine pages of a textbook. It is not meant to be a theoretical exercise, an intellectual curiosity to be pondered and then set aside. No, it is a seed, robust and full of potential, meant to be carried forth and planted in the fertile ground of daily life. The speaker's eyes scanned the faces in the audience, a silent plea passing between them. Carry this forward. The unspoken message urged, let it take root in your own existence. For regenerative agriculture at its heart is not merely a set of farming techniques, a collection of how-to guides for better yields. It is a philosophy, a profound way of seeing the world, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things, and ultimately a transformative way of living. It asks us to shift our perspective from extraction to contribution, from depletion to renewal. Think about it. The core principles of regeneration, building health from the ground up, fostering diversity in every possible form, closing loops to eliminate waste and create continuous cycles, and minimizing disturbance to allow natural processes to thrive. These are universal truths that extend far beyond the farm gate. They are not confined to fields of corn or pastures of grazing animals. How do we apply them to our bustling urban landscapes, transforming concrete jungles into vibrant ecosystems? How do we integrate them into the sanctity of our homes, making them havens of sustainability? How do we weave them into the fabric of our communities, fostering resilience and connection? A small balcony garden, perhaps just a few pots on a railing, nurtured with homemade compost and teeming with beneficial insects buzzing around herbs and flowers, embodies the exact same principles of soil health and biodiversity as a vast, sprawling regenerative farm. A community initiative to plant native species in a local park, carefully chosen to restore habitat, support local wildlife, and enhance water infiltration, reflects the same unwavering commitment to ecological repair and long-term health. Even our simple choices as consumers to prioritize nutrient-dense, locally grown food from regenerative sources send powerful, undeniable ripples through the entire supply chain, supporting the very practices we champion and reinforcing a better way of producing and consuming. Every dollar spent becomes a vote for the future we wish to see. We speak of carbon sequestration in agricultural soils, a vital process that draws down greenhouse gases. But what about the carbon footprint of our consumption patterns, the cumulative impact of our daily choices? What about the materials we choose to build with, opting for renewable natural resources over energy-intensive synthetic ones? What about the energy we consume, seeking out renewable sources and minimizing waste? What about the waste we generate, often carelessly, in our homes and industries? To truly embrace a regenerative future is to extend this philosophy to every facet of our existence, to see every decision as an opportunity for positive impact. It means designing our cities to be more like forests, permeable, allowing water to soak in rather than run off, diverse, supporting a multitude of life forms, resilient, able to adapt to changing conditions, and ultimately, life-affirming, enhancing the well-being of all inhabitants. It means reimagining our economies to value ecological health as much as, if not more than, financial profit, understanding that true prosperity is intrinsically linked to planetary well-being. It means fostering a culture where waste is seen not as an end, a problem to be discarded, but as a precious resource in a continuous, elegant cycle of renewal, feeding back into the system to create new life and value. This is where the power of knowledge, shared and amplified, becomes paramount. Each lesson we've explored here, each concept understood, each connection made, equips us with the invaluable tools to become agents of change. The Dreamy Academy, in its essence, is not just a platform for lectures, it is a garden of ideas, carefully cultivated and tended. And you, our cherished audience, are the cultivators. We sow these seeds of understanding, nourishing them with information and insight. But it is through your actions, your passionate conversations with friends and family, your tireless advocacy in your communities, that they truly take root and flourish, blossoming into tangible change. Imagine the collective, transformative impact if every single one of us, armed with this profound knowledge, began to make even small, consistent choices aligned with regeneration. The ripple effect would be immeasurable, a wave of positive change spreading outwards, touching lives and landscapes far beyond our immediate sight. And perhaps, most importantly, this entire journey is an invitation to reconnect, In our modern world, so often disconnected from the very source of our sustenance, from the land that feeds us and the ecosystems that sustain us, it is perilously easy to forget our intrinsic belonging to the natural world. We become observers rather than participants. Regenerative living calls us back to that fundamental ancient relationship. It asks us to feel the cool, rich soil between our fingers, to truly observe the intricate, almost magical dance of a pollinator on a vibrant flower, to taste the vibrant, life-giving energy of food grown with care and respect, each bite a testament to a healthy ecosystem. It reminds us, with a gentle but firm insistence, that we are not separate from nature, not merely visitors or exploiters, but an integral, inseparable part of it, threads in the same magnificent tapestry. This reconnection is not merely intellectual, it is deeply visceral, profoundly spiritual. It fosters humility, reminding us of the profound complexity and inherent wisdom in systems far older and grander than ourselves, systems that have perfected balance over millennia. It cultivates wonder, awakening us to the astonishing beauty that surrounds us, even in the smallest, most overlooked details. The delicate vein pattern of a leaf, the perfect spherical geometry of a drop of dew clinging to a spider web, the tireless industry of an ant. When we truly understand the elegant simplicity and profound impact of harvesting starlight through photosynthesis, of the living, breathing soil beneath our feet, of the plant's ingenious transport systems moving water and nutrients, we cannot help but feel a renewed sense of awe, a quiet reverence for the sheer miracle of existence. It fills the spirit with a sense of purpose and belonging. This journey is also critically about legacy. What kind of world are we building, brick by conscious brick, for those who will follow us, for the generations yet unborn? Are we depleting the inheritance, squandering the precious resources passed down to us, or are we actively enriching it, adding to its vibrancy and resilience? The work of regeneration is a multi-generational project, a profound act of love for future inhabitants of this planet, human and non-human alike. It is about planting trees whose shade we may never sit under, nurturing soils whose full fertility we may never witness in our lifetime, and establishing ecosystems that will thrive long after we are gone. It is a testament to hope, a stubborn, beautiful belief in the inherent capacity for life to flourish, given the right conditions and our conscious, compassionate participation. It is a promise to the future. So, as we conclude this chapter, and indeed this series of explorations, I leave you not with an ending, a final period marking the cessation of learning, but with a beginning. The lecture may cease, the projector may power down, but the learning, the doing, the living continues. Embrace the knowledge you have gained, carry it with you like a precious jewel, and let it inspire your choices big and small. Let the principles of regeneration guide not just your understanding of agriculture, but your very way of being in the world, informing your relationships, your consumption, your connection to place. The green heart of our planet beats tirelessly, resiliently, a constant rhythm of life. And through our conscious choices, through our humble stewardship, through our profound connection, it beats through us. Let us continue to listen to its ancient rhythm, to learn from its boundless wisdom, and to join in its magnificent ongoing dance of life. Go forth, Cultivate wonder in every corner of your existence and participate wholeheartedly in the grand, beautiful work of regeneration. The earth is waiting for us, patiently and full of potential, and the future, vibrant and green, is truly ours to grow. Good evening, fellow travellers on this remarkable journey of discovery. We've ventured from the quiet miracle of a single leaf, tracing the sun's captured energy, down into the vibrant, unseen world of the soil, through the intricate highways within a plant, and then outward to the vast global implications of our choices. We've spoken of challenges, of resilience, and of the profound power that each one of us holds to shape the future of our planet through conscious action. Tonight, I invite us to step back once more, to elevate our perspective even higher, to see not just the individual threads, but the magnificent tapestry they weave together. If regenerative agriculture is about healing the land, then to truly understand its power, we must first understand the patient, our earth, as a living, breathing, self-regulating entity. We must perceive the grand, ceaseless symphony of life, where every element, every creature, every cycle plays a vital, interconnected note. Consider again the humble plant, the green heart of our planet, tirelessly performing the alchemy of photosynthesis. We spoke of it as harvesting starlight, and indeed it is. But this is not merely an isolated act. It is the opening chord of Earth's greatest composition. That energy, once bound in the molecular architecture of glucose, cascades through every trophic level, fueling everything from the smallest bacterium in the soil to the largest whale in the ocean. It is the fundamental currency of life, flowing from sun to plant, from plant to herbivore, from herbivore to carnivore, and eventually, through the decomposers, back into the soil, awaiting its next transformation. This flow is the pulse of our world, an unbroken chain of energy transfer that has continued for billions of years. But energy, though constantly replenished by the sun, is not the only player in this symphony. Matter, too, dances in intricate, never-ending cycles. These are the great biogeochemical cycles, the carbon, nitrogen, and water cycles, the very breath and blood of our planet. They are the unseen forces that dictate the conditions for life, and it is within these cycles that agriculture finds its deepest meaning and its greatest responsibility. Let us begin with the carbon cycle. The grand architect of our climate and the very backbone of organic life. We breathe it out. Plants breathe it in. This elegant exchange is the essence of life on Earth. Atmospheric carbon dioxide, a molecule often demonized in our modern discourse, is, in truth, the raw material for all plant life. Through photosynthesis, plants draw this carbon from the air, fixing it into their tissues, their leaves, stems, roots, and fruits. When plants die, or when they are consumed, this carbon can be returned to the atmosphere through respiration or decomposition. But crucially, a significant portion of it, especially in healthy ecosystems, is transferred into the soil. Here, in the dark, fertile embrace of the earth, carbon transforms. It becomes soil organic matter, the rich dark humus that gives soil its life, its structure, its ability to hold water and nutrients. This sequestration of carbon in the soil is not just beneficial for agriculture. It is absolutely vital for regulating our planet's climate. For centuries, traditional and industrial agriculture often acted as a net emitter of carbon, tilling the soil, exposing its organic matter to the air, and allowing it to oxidize and escape as CO2. But regenerative agriculture, with its emphasis on no-till practices, cover cropping and diverse rotations, reverses this trend. It transforms farmland from a carbon source into a carbon sink, actively drawing down atmospheric carbon and storing it where it belongs, beneath our feet, enriching the very foundation of our food system. It's an astonishingly elegant solution, leveraging life itself to heal the imbalances we've created. Then there is the nitrogen cycle, a ballet of transformation, perhaps the most complex and delicate of all. Nitrogen, though abundant in our atmosphere as a gas, N2, is largely unusable by most living organisms in that form. It must be fixed, converted into reactive compounds like ammonia or nitrates, before plants can absorb it. This miraculous conversion is primarily performed by an army of microscopic organisms, bacteria and archaea, some free-living in the soil, others forming symbiotic relationships with plants, most famously legumes. These tiny alchemists are the unsung heroes of our planet, unlocking the building blocks of proteins and DNA for all life. Historically, humanity has struggled with nitrogen, often depleting it from soils through intensive farming, leading to widespread hunger. The invention of the Haber-Bosch process in the early 20th century, which allowed for the industrial synthesis of nitrogen fertilizers, was hailed as a triumph, feeding billions. Yet this triumph came with a cost. Excessive application of synthetic nitrogen has disrupted the natural cycle, leading to runoff that pollutes waterways, contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, and diminishes the soil's natural capacity for nitrogen fixation. Regenerative agriculture seeks to re-establish the soil's innate capacity for this cycle, fostering a diverse microbial community that works in partnership with plants, reducing reliance on synthetic inputs, and restoring the elegant balance of nature's own processes. It is a profound act of trust in the wisdom of the living world. And finally, the water cycle, the ceaseless flow that shapes landscapes and sustains every drop of life. Water evaporates from oceans and land, forms clouds, falls as rain or snow, flows over and through the land, and eventually returns to the atmosphere or the sea. Plants, especially healthy, well-rooted ones, are critical mediators in this cycle. They draw water from the soil, transpire it into the atmosphere, influencing local rainfall patterns and cooling the air. Healthy soil, rich in organic matter, acts like a sponge, absorbing and holding vast quantities of water, preventing runoff, recharging groundwater, and mitigating both floods and droughts. Conversely, degraded soils, stripped of organic matter and compacted by heavy machinery, repel water. Rain falls, runs off, carrying precious topsoil with it, contributing to erosion and desertification. The very act of tilling can break up the soil structure, making it less permeable. Regenerative practices, by building soil health, fundamentally restore the land's capacity to manage water. They ensure that more rain infiltrates the ground, nurturing plant life, supporting microbial communities, and providing a steady, clean supply of water for all creatures, including us. It's a return to an ancient wisdom. The healthier the soil, the healthier the water, the healthier the planet. As we contemplate these cycles, the tireless flow of energy, the intricate dance of carbon, nitrogen, and water, we begin to see our planet not as a collection of separate parts, but as a single, magnificent, self-regulating organism. This is the Earth as a living system, a dynamic, interconnected web where every action has ripples, every choice echoes. Our agriculture in this grand scheme is not merely about growing food. It is about our interaction with these fundamental planetary processes. It is about whether we choose to disrupt or to harmonize, to deplete or to regenerate. For too long, we have often seen ourselves as separate from nature, as masters of a raw, inert resource, bending it to our will. But the profound beauty and astonishing complexity of these cycles remind us of our true place. We are an integral part of this living symphony. Our individual actions, the choices we make in our gardens, at our tables, in our communities, are not isolated notes. They are contributions to the whole. When we choose to support regenerative practices, we are consciously aligning ourselves with the Earth's own healing mechanisms. We are becoming co-creators, participants in the ongoing work of life itself. This perspective, I believe, imbues our work with an even deeper sense of purpose and reverence. It transforms the act of farming, or even simply choosing food, into an act of ecological citizenship, a sacred trust. It invites us to cultivate not just crops but ecosystems, not just yields but resilience, not just sustenance but synergy with the planet's profound wisdom. We have journeyed far from the unseen world within a cell to the global implications of a movement, and now we stand at a precipice of understanding, where the microscopic marvels meet the planetary cycles, where individual power converges with the grandest designs of life. The symphony plays on ceaselessly. The question before us, as it always has been, is what note will we choose to add? Will it be one of discord and depletion, or one of harmony, regeneration, and life? The choice, my friends, is ours, and it resonates through the very heart of our living Earth. The journey we've undertaken together, here within the quiet walls of the Dreamy Academy, has been one of profound exploration. We began by tracing the dance of light into life, observing the silent, tireless work of photosynthesis, that astonishing alchemy of sun, air, and water. We then delved beneath our feet, discovering the bewildering complexity and vital generosity of the soil, a universe in miniature, teeming with unseen life. We followed water's patient pilgrimage from root tip to leaf pore, and marvelled at the resilience woven into the very fabric of life itself, allowing organisms to adapt and thrive amidst ever-changing conditions. And through it all, we sought to understand how our human hands, through the ancient evolving art of agriculture, can either disrupt or harmonize with these magnificent self-regulating cycles. Now, as we near the culmination of our shared adventure, I invite you to step back with me, to gaze upon the vast, intricate tapestry that all these threads compose. We have spoken of Earth as a living, breathing system, a grand symphony where every element, every process, plays an indispensable part. Agriculture, when understood in its deepest sense, is not merely the production of food. It is our most direct, most intimate interaction with this planetary orchestra. It is our chance to learn the score, to pick up an instrument, and to contribute to the melody, rather than inadvertently creating dissonance. Consider, if you will, the humble seed. Within its protective casing lies not just the blueprint for a new plant, but the accumulated wisdom of millennia, a testament to life's persistent drive to manifest. It holds the echoes of ancient forests and the promise of future harvests. When we place that seed into the earth, we are not just planting a future meal, we are initiating a profound conversation with the very essence of life. We are entrusting it to the soil's embrace, to the water's caress, to the sun's nurturing gaze. And in return, the seed, through the miracle of photosynthesis, will once again become a conduit for cosmic energy, transforming sunlight into the sugars that fuel existence, releasing the oxygen that sustains our very breath. This, you see, is the core of our understanding. Everything is interconnected. The carbon atoms sequestered in a plant's leaf today might have once been exhaled by a dinosaur or dissolved in the ancient oceans. The water molecule nourishing a root could have fallen as rain on a distant mountain range, or surged through the bloodstream of a whale. There is no isolation in nature, only in ceaseless flow, a continuous exchange, a dance of elements across vast scales of time and space. And agriculture, at its best, becomes a conscious participation in this flow, a mindful alignment with the Earth's inherent rhythms, a respectful joining of the grand cosmic dance. We have learned that the health of the soil is paramount, not just for the productivity of our crops, but for the vitality of the entire planet. A vibrant soil teeming with microbial life, rich in organic matter, becomes a sponge for water, a sink for carbon, and a pharmacy for nutrients. It is the green heart of our planet, tirelessly pumping life-sustaining energy through its vast network, filtering, buffering, sustaining. When we adopt regenerative practices, minimizing disturbance, keeping the ground covered, fostering biodiversity, integrating livestock, cultivating perennial systems, we are not merely improving our yields or economic bottom lines. We are actively healing the earth, stitch by stitch, acre by acre. We are restoring its capacity to regulate climate, to purify water, to provide habitat, and to nourish all its inhabitants, including ourselves, in a truly holistic and enduring way. This shift from an extractive mindset to one of active stewardship is perhaps the most profound legacy we can cultivate. It moves beyond the idea of simply taking from the earth to one of giving back, of co-creating, of nurturing. It acknowledges that we are not masters of nature, but rather integral, albeit often disruptive, members of its vast intelligent community. Our role, then, is not to conquer or control, but to understand, to respect, and to facilitate, to listen to the whispers of the land, to observe its intricate patterns, and to work in collaboration with its inherent wisdom, allowing its natural resilience to flourish. Think of the vast implications. Imagine a world where every farm, every garden, every urban green space becomes a vibrant, self-sustaining ecosystem, actively sequestering atmospheric carbon, replenishing groundwater tables, and fostering a rich tapestry of biodiversity. Imagine communities nourished by food grown in living soils, food rich in nutrients, and imbued with the energy of a healthy planet, contributing to human health and well-being on a global scale. This is not a utopian fantasy. It is a tangible future within our collective reach, achievable through the widespread adoption of the principles we have discussed, applied with intention and care. The beauty of this vision lies in its accessibility. While the challenges of global food security and climate change can feel overwhelmingly vast, the solutions, in essence, begin with very simple, very personal choices. They begin with the decision to nurture a small patch of earth, to choose a product from a farmer who honors the soil, to learn about the origins of our food, to compost our kitchen scraps, to plant a tree. Each act, however seemingly small, is a ripple in the grand pond, contributing to the unfolding symphony, creating a positive resonance that echoes far beyond its immediate impact. This understanding also extends beyond the fields and into the very fabric of our daily lives. How do we consume? How do we dispose? How do we connect with the natural world around us, even in the most urban environments? The principles of regeneration, fostering life, building resilience, honoring cycles, creating reciprocity, are not confined to agriculture alone. They are a philosophy for living, a pathway to greater harmony in all our interactions with each other and with the planet. They invite us to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, to recognize our interdependence, and to act with a conscious awareness of the profound ripple effects of our every choice. It calls upon us to cultivate not just plants, but patience, not just crops, but curiosity, not just harvests, but humility. It asks us to slow down, to observe, to learn from the astonishing efficiency and elegance of natural systems which have perfected these processes over eons. It encourages us to rediscover the primal joy of working with our hands in the soil, of witnessing the miracle of growth from seed to fruit, of tasting the pure, unadulterated flavor of food that has been lovingly tended. And as we cultivate this mindset, we begin to transform our relationship with the earth from one of extraction to one of deep reverence. We move from a transactional exchange to a sacred reciprocity, a mutual flourishing. This is not just about sustaining life. It is about thriving in life, about finding profound meaning and connection in our role as active participants in the Earth's ongoing creation, its ceaseless unfolding. The knowledge we have shared here, the insights we have gained, are not merely academic concepts. They are living truths, waiting to be embodied, waiting to be practiced. They are an invitation to become agents of positive change, to contribute to a legacy of abundance, health, and ecological wisdom for generations yet to come, a legacy far richer than any material inheritance. So, as our time together in this particular lecture draws to a close, I leave you with not an ending, but a beginning of deeper observation, of more conscious choices, of a renewed relationship with the living world that sustains us all. The earth continues its tireless work, its grand symphony playing on, whether we listen or not. But when we choose to listen, when we choose to understand, when we choose to participate with intention and respect, we elevate not just ourselves, but the entire composition. May you carry this understanding with you, like a precious seed, and plant it wherever you go. May you witness the miracles unfolding around you with fresh eyes, and may you find joy in your own unique contribution to the unfolding symphony of life. The greatest harvest, perhaps, is not found in the fields, but in the heart that recognizes its profound connection to all things. It is in the quiet understanding that we too are part of the earth's astonishing ongoing miracle. Thank you.